From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course in front of Clare Court. I'm joined by Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino. Another beautiful day, and compared to what's supposed to happen later today, this is okay.
Right now, it's gorgeous.
And you knew,
although I went sans jacket.
If Seth Merrow wasn't going to wear a jacket, you knew he wasn't going to wear a Seth Merrow tie because it'd be fully on display. And there is, I would wager half of our son's college trust fund that is a gift.
That's a gimme.
That is a layup.
You're not making more than $210 on that.
That's it. That is it. It's just beautiful out here today, but as noted by Seth in a circuitous way, it's supposed to be extremely warm with the heat index later on this afternoon. I know we've had a great stretch of weather. We've talked about our family. We had great weather on our vacation, and then we've been back in the States since July 2nd. I think it's rained about 3 hours, and you can probably tell I like to play golf. I get outside. It's been probably the greatest stretch of weather I've experienced as an adult. I mean, I haven't had to cancel a golf game, this has just been great. But it's going to be very warm today, so if you're coming up to the track, once again, maybe flip-flops, a light pair of golf shorts, and a T-shirt. And I don't usually advocate that, as obviously on the other side of the spectrum. But it's going to be warm today. It's going to be fun. Seth, let's jump into...
Let me just hit a couple of notes first. First of all, I hope everybody went out over, because I gave our man Dino a ride in the golf cart before the card started. I gave him a ride to the front side. I was still working back here a little bit, but as I came back in the golf cart, Jimmy Jerkins was walking back. I said, "You want to ride?" He said, "Yeah, sure." He had been at the Lustgarten charity, autograph signing table. He said everybody showed up. All the trainers were there, which is great news. And I guess everybody had a great time. If you brought some memorabilia, I hope you got the signatures you wanted, because it went to a great cause. Lustgarten Foundation, again, they do research for pancreatic cancer. It's in memory of the trainer Dominic Galuscio. But as I noted, my brother passed away from it. Our friend Mike Jarbo, and 100% of the money for Lustgarten goes to the research. So again, if you didn't get a chance, I'm saying this, so if you didn't get a chance to go over, maybe go to their website and toss in some money as well. But hopefully you did get a chance to go over, and congratulations to Naira and all the folks that participated. Today, down at the Clubhouse Racebook, there will be a show pool bankroll. I'll be trying to parlay 5 horses. I'll be trying to make the $3,000 score that I made last year. But as I said last year, that's probably once in a lifetime. But we'll see. We'll see what we can. I lost one horse, and I had 4 horses that paid $5 or more to show.
Yes.
That's tough. But we will try to make some money, and that's going to happen at the Clubhouse Racebook. So if you swing down, you have a chance to get in the show pool this afternoon. And I always like to remind people, if you're coming up here, swing by over by the 4-Star Day Bar and sign up for the Low Rollers. Low Rollers is a lot of fun. It's a contest. You put $40 in. They take $10 out, put it in the prize pool. You get a card worth $30, and during the day you have to make 5 $2 one place in show bets. And if you're the leader at the end of the day, you get what's on your card in the prize pool. If you're a little further, the other day I wound up 7th. I was talking about that, but I had $70 on my card, so it was still.
And you said they paid to the 5 that
day was the top. It's based a little bit on how many people are in there. But again, show pool down at the Clubhouse Racebook, Low Rollers up here today, so it should be a lot of fun.
And just a quick note, it was day 2 at Del Mar yesterday, bombs away. Doug O'Neill had a $60 winner. Peter Yurton had a just about $40 winner, and Steve Knapp had a $30. Just bombs away. So I hope following John DeSilva, his first 2 days obviously, I should say, as per usual, beautiful weather out there. They ran the San Clemente as a walkout race. They had their graded stakes race.
I was over at the racetrack and I saw that on the simulcast TV.
So, and a great day in racing. A big upset in the King George. Led the early pace, gave it up, came back, and I will say this, and I know European racing is completely different, but I've said this about racing at Saratoga. The first 100 yards are almost 80% of the time more important than the last 100. Miss Raff just completely missed the start. I know they don't care in Europe going a mile and a half, but I think it matters all the time, and he just never was really able to get into the fight after a terrible start. I don't know which one we're going to first, but we're going to show the people two big-time races for 3-year-olds in July, and I think for you, I know you have a Hall of Fame ballot. Do you have an Eclipse ballot?
I do.
I do not have an Eclipse ballot. I have the other one. I go. Good luck with the
coaching club is first.
Okay, good luck with the 3-year-old Colt division when it comes time to cast that
Well,
ballot.
if I had to do it now, it would be tough, but I'm thinking it'll sort itself out.
Don't you find it getting worse and worse
Well,
and worse?
yeah, you can
it's
make
not
that.
going the right direction. Well, let's get the coaching. And I'll tell you, Seth, an example like how I love sports. I love horse racing. If there was a bet yesterday, and I tried to make this point yesterday morning, that I could have bet Nest straight on against Secret Oath, just to go to a window and say, I would have made the largest bet of my life if I could have had just a head-to-head with them. What many sports bettors just view as, that's a reasonable bet. You have two athletes out there that, let's go, we have the full replay for you, a showdown between two of the top runners in the prestigious Coaching Club American Oaks.
And they're off. Oh, it was a stumbling beginning there for Butterbean, and Society was off slow. Society is now moving up, but it is Nest who has the early lead going into the clubhouse turn. And then it is Nostalgic and Secret Oath on the outside. In tight there is Society, and it's a big break back to Butterbean. Society wants to go on with it and wants to go up to challenge Nest for the lead. And Society now has the lead with Nest a close-up second. And then Nostalgic and Secret Oath on the outside. The opening quarter went in 24 seconds. It is Society who leads here by a half length. Nest is in between horses. Nostalgic is 3 wide. Secret Oath is 4 wide. These 3-year-old fillies are stacked across the track. It is Nest who now puts a head in front. Society is down at the rail. Then it's Nostalgic and Secret Oath racing right together. And it's a big break. Back to Butterbean in 5th. Opening half mile in 47 and 2/5 seconds. Nest is the leader as they head for the far turn. Secret Oath now makes her move on the outside, and the two of them hook up here. It is Secret Oath on the outside and Nest on the inside, midway around the far turn. It is Nest on the inside with a head in front of Secret Oath. The front two have opened up a half dozen lengths on Society and Nostalgic, and Nest is getting clear from Secret Oath, who's being asked for more. Nest is in front, 3/4 in 1:11, and they head for home here at Saratoga with Nest the leader. Nest in front with 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Secret Oath could not keep up with Nest today. It is Nest who is opening up on the field. Nest putting in a grade 1 performance today. Nest, much the best in this Coaching Club American Oaks. She won by better than 10 lengths. Secret Oath was second. Nostalgic finished third, then Society, and farther back.
We're good to go here.
Now, a couple things. If you were watching Talking Horses yesterday, Andy Sterling was making an excellent point, particularly about these filly and mares races. We're getting black type for down the road. Broodmare status is unbelievably important. And that some horses might not be, that placing is very important if you didn't think you could beat the two heavyweights. Society did not act that way. Who I needed for the one punch exacta, hoping to split the big two, misses the break, rushes in, whether the horse is on its own, gets traffic trouble, because I think Secret Oath was there for the taking for second place, but Society lost, who I thought had the best chance of splitting the big two. After that first furlong and a half, I'm like, is she trying to win, not hit the board? Well, guess what happened? She didn't win, she didn't hit the board. I thought Secret Oath was going to be had yesterday. I love Nest, and was it Baker's dozen or 12 plus lengths, easy as could be. David Aragona got it right on the morning line, and the bettors got it right.
After the race, I was in the winner's circle, and we'll have Mike Rapoli on sometime later this week. We were trying to get him yesterday, and just scheduling and whatnot. But it's just as much fun to talk after the race, and he's got plenty to talk about. So we'll have him a little bit later. But in the winner's circle, he's getting the regular post-race comments. And then the most everybody walked away, and Tim Wilkin and I were standing there, and Tim was asking about, hey, what about the Travers? And he was kind of like, well, we'll see what happens today in the Haskell and Jim. And I said, wait a minute, you're thinking about it? He said, I'm Mike Rapoli. Of course I'm thinking about it. So we'll see.
I think if you look at these 3-year-old colts, you're supposed to be thinking about it.
He is certainly thinking a mile and a quarter is going to be right in her wheelhouse and stepping out one way or the other.
And her speed figure will stand up. I think she got a good one yesterday.
Yeah, she was 104.
That'll stand up in this crop.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and down in Jersey, one of the big questions, did Mike McAdam have anything to say after the race? And I'm wondering if this will be a forestry where you come out of the Haskell after running, I think forestry ran 30, he ran in the King's Bishop. So let's go down there. Morning line odds person, I think, was the only person that didn't think Jack Christopher would be the choice. Yesterday's Haskell.
And they're off in the TVG.com Haskell. Taba is sent hard for some early speed. Jack Christopher and Benevengo. Jack Christopher and Benevengo now go on with it. And then it's Taba in third. One Time Willard is headstrong in the early going. And Howling Time is on the outside, 4 wide into the first turn and about 3 lengths off the lead. Then comes Cyberknife on the inside of White Abario, and King of Hollywood is at the back of the field. Long shot Benevengo will go to the 6 furlong pole as the leader by a length. Jack Christopher will track him in second. Taba close up third. Howling Time inching up on the outside takes the third spot as they get to the backstretch. Then it's One Time Willard. 2 lengths clear of White Abario past the 5/8 pole. Cyberknife inside of him and King of Hollywood. They're covered by 8 lengths. Benevengo is the leader by 3/4 of a length. Jack Christopher is a comfortable second, and Howling Time is clearly third. Taba has lost a little bit of ground being pushed along, and Cyberknife coming through inside of him as they head to the 3/8 pole. And now Jack Christopher is up to take the lead. Jack Christopher puts his head in front. A big run from Howling Time with a 3 wide bid at the quarter pole. At the rail, Benevengo, just behind them, Cyberknife, and then Taba, they turn for home. It's Jack Christopher in front, Howling Time. Taba switches to the outside, and he's now putting in a strong bid. And here comes Taba. Taba in the center of the track with good-looking strides, squares off with Cyberknife. Cyberknife takes the lead. Taba going with him. These two in a thriller. Cyberknife just in front, and Cyberknife has won the TVG.com Haskell over Taba. Jack Christopher finished third, and Howling Time was fourth. The running time 1:46.
And good for Al Gold. Al Gold is really a New York guy, but this horse hasn't showed up in New York, but he's a Monmouth guy as well, and so for him it's kind of a hometown.
He's really a Monmouth guy now.
Yeah, getting it done in the Haskell yesterday. Cyberknife looking pretty good with a 102 buyer holding off Taba.
He looked like King Kong at the half-mile pole. I mean, if you took away the names of the horses and you asked people to bet, you're betting Cyberknife to get home. I mean, Jack Christopher, he was in great position. He finished third. He wasn't awful. He didn't win his first time 2 turns. I'll be very interested to see where they go. I thought it was just a big-time performance by a horse who was on the engine. I mean, you could see as they were entering the far turn that traffic was going to could be a problem. And then Florent Giroux just... he saw that moment when the 55-1 long shot who was setting the pace tired, and he got the spot you wanted to get, and it was over. Baffert rallies. I wouldn't have given you 50 cents on the dollar on the backstretch that horse was going to be runner-up. And Jack Christopher runs third. I mean, I know he was odds on. It was first time 2 turns. A world of talent. But the next step will be, I think, telling where Chad wants to go, whether it's the Grade 1 Alan Jerkins here, or if he believes 2 turns is within his scope.
Yeah, the trip for Cyberknife and Taba. Cyberknife slips up the rail. Taba has to go a little wide coming into the stretch, and that seems to make the difference.
I mean, Cyberknife had traffic trouble entering the turn. He had more horse than space allowed for, and then he got fortuitous through the slip.
So he winds up winning the Arkansas Derby, a Grade
Yes.
1, the Grade 3 Matt Winn. Now he has the Grade 1 Haskell on the resume. So he inserts himself into the conversation.
You and I could insert ourselves in the conversation if we were 3-year-olds.
I don't know. It may be narrowing down. Jack Christopher, I think, moves out of the conversation.
Yes. I mean, it's just too hard. Just too hard. I think it's time for the DePaula play of the day on this beautiful Sunday morning at the spa.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Silverado, just $3.99 a month. Yes, $3.99 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hi, everybody. Steve Beck coming to you from Monmouth and from a terrific Haskell day this afternoon. Hope you had a great day. Back up at the spa, looking at the DePaula play of the day for Sunday. It comes in the 9th race. And I want to look at John Kimmel and Tuscan Queen, the 4-year-old filly for Sleeping Giant Stables. She broke her maiden up here at this trip with Jose Ortiz. She's going to get that beautiful outside trip, the open air outside box where the air is fresh and clear, as Marty McGee says. 6-1, very attractive. Kimmel horses running well to start the meet. Let's get Tuscan Queen around at 8-1, your DePaula play of the day. Good luck, everybody.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Equinox, just $2.59 a month. Yes, $2.59 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a look at the Sunday card. Remember, dress coolly out there. It's supposed to be very, very warm, particularly with the heat index. Seth, we talked about it yesterday. 2-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile in maiden special weights. This is the Good Magic Invitational. So we have 2-year-olds, maiden special weights, racing 6 in the opener.
I'm just looking at our monitor, and man, they are.
Is my tie straight?
It's great. I was not looking at you. I was looking at our background. There's plenty of horses just kind of circling back and forth. It's another great day.
It's
a
beautiful scene.
I will just briefly talk about the top pick because it's going to be my dark horse. So I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on. But I have it 5, 2, 1, and 8. Upgrade on top, Mike Rapoli, Todd Pletcher. Rapoli after the big day yesterday with Nest getting it done, and I think this one is going to be live again. I'll talk about that one a little more in a few with the dark horse. But Bat Flip goes out, Good Magic on top, Good Magic. When I pulled up the stats, and again, my stats, I'll go in this afternoon and update my page because I may be a week old or so. But Good Magic at the time, 12 first-time starters. 3 wins, 3 seconds. That's not bad out of the box for the sire. So this one going out also for Todd Pletcher. I'm going to put Bat Flip in the mix. And then another one by Good Magic is Faithful and True for Rudy Brissett. 5-2 on the morning line. I believe that makes this one, the morning line favorite. I can't disagree. Clearly they paid a lot of money down at Ocala, and the horse worked 9.4 before that Ocala sale. They thought enough of this one to pop up from Keeneland after working just a week ago down in Kentucky, and I would think this one will be very live and well met this afternoon. So I'm not going to disagree necessarily with the morning line, but I have it in the opener 5, 2, 1, and 8.
There's 6 firsters in here. 75% of the field of firsters. I mean, I took the good, partially the Good Magic. I took the one on the outside for a 2-year-old. I mean, I might take the right turn coming out of the gate, but it should have some room to get going for Manny Franco. For second, Bourbon Bash for me. Now, Seth, not in your mix. If my eyes don't deceive me and the data is right, there are no listed gate workouts. I thought you were required to have at least a gate card and wouldn't you have to work from the gate before your debut, but maybe they'll be announcing. Maybe the rules have changed. Maybe it was never a rule and I'm wrong. And then I have Faithful and True, the morning line favorite. They paid $4.50 from the rail. But I just lean towards Blazing Sevens on the outside. So 8-4-1.
I will admit I'm not sure about the rule either, but they do always refer to the gate card. So you
you had to get a gate card. I mean, which makes sense. You got to show them that you know how to break from the gate. It's not a rodeo out there. even though sometimes you might think it is.
Second race this afternoon. Conditional claimers, non-winners of 2 lifetime. They will come out of the Wilson Chute at a mile.
Now, as a press box person, have they made an announcement that they've
Not that I've
decided
They
on
may
the
have made
field
it.
size?
I haven't heard it.
And no one's talking about. I mean, so I'm 4-2-1 here at Once a Giant, listed as a first-time gelding, and with the almost 6-7 weeks, Seth, I find that very believable. So I'll go with that. You have to go back to the 1-turn mile at Aqueduct, where this is the career best in the maiden claiming when the horse won by 7. Subsequent to that went to, we talked about this yesterday, starter allowance is so much bigger a mountain than these 2 L's and in for 16. So this is dramatically an easier spot. And, for George Weaver, Sharp Barn, some of us might say, well, this might have been the natural first race after breaking the maiden for a tag, but they try tougher, gets back to a level that I think will be highly competitive. And Once a Giant, my top pick. 4 second, excuse me, his voice is bothersome. Ampersand, one of my favorite words in the English language, Phil Serpy, runs for the tag today after the New York Red tried the entry-level allowance for a third. Icon. I said before, I no longer care about the double lines and these long layoffs. They add blinkers, second start since the Ides of November in 2020. So I am 4-2-1 in the second.
Ampersand, a favorite. I don't think I've ever heard anybody having a favorite word, but if they did,
I love that word.
I wouldn't have thought ampersand would have been.
I think it's like a great word. I mean, how many times do you ever hear? If it wasn't for the A&E network, you would never even see it in society.
I put ampersand on top, so I'm hoping he's a favorite horse of mine. I have a 2-4-7-1 ampersand on top. A couple of second place finishes, bookending a disappointing effort 2 back. But, and I will say, off slow, getting out, bumped early, awkward start. Normally I shy away from these, and I may regret that. The first 100 yards I may say, why did I get on this one? Because when they start stringing them together, but I thought there was enough there to tilt in this direction slightly, because the class relief to me was a little bit notable. Also with the class relief, as you say, the George Weaver horse going out for August Dawn Farm, the nom de plume of Bill Parcells. The drop here is a little bit of a concern. 1 for a tag to break the maiden, gets back in for the tag after those starter allowances. And again, the drop is a concern, but as you know, the first time gelding, that puts another piece to the puzzle, which makes the move maybe a little more palatable. I mean, it's different. Will somebody jump in at 16 for a full horse that they paid $235,000 as compared to a gelding for 16? So again, that factors in and maybe takes a little bit of the question marks away. Amadeus Music in the 3rd spot. Another one getting some class relief, moving back to the dirt, and I think will be a player in here on those factors that may be a price. For me, 2-4-7-1.
Did I ever tell you my Coach Parcells story?
No.
He calls me over one time, so he must have recognized, I'm sure he watches it. He loves horse racing, folks.
Oh,
the first year he retired with the Giants, he was up here the following summer. He was always here in the summer when his football was on the sideline. So I walk into Ciro's, I'm like 5 feet in. And he basically calls me over, which I was, people. So he shows me the form, and he shows me a John Kimmel runner who had 1 start, and as I would say, practice type of look. And he says, "Explain to me how this horse after this race wins the next race." And I looked at him and said, "Coach, you aren't always what your record says you are." And if you're not familiar, his most famous line is, "You are what your record says you are." And he started laughing. He goes, "That was pretty good." Yeah, I go, "Thank you." But yeah, he's on to the 3rd race, another restricted claimer. This one, 25,000, 2L, sprinting 6 on the turn, actually.
3-2, the 1 entry in 4. I will put Taco Bean on top. Has had 16 tries and only 1 win. But I just looked, and against this field, I think the horse is going to be an okay fit. Comes off the claim, the trainer's okay off the claim, and again, kind of consistently puts together numbers that I think are a pretty good match with this bunch. So again, I'm not jumping in this race with a lot of confidence, but I'll tilt in that direction. Power Agenda in the 2nd spot. Rapoli and Company, Todd Pletcher dropping for the tag. This horse is going to take a lot of action. I looked at it on top. To me, I mentioned earlier the factoring in the drop on that horse earlier, but first time gelding maybe mitigated that a little bit. To me, this is really a red flag.
I don't know how many the whole pool is, but these horses dropping very, very noticeably are winning races. Whether it's only 10% of them, they are winning.
This one is so suspect, though.
Yes.
The race last time and the drop. I have a second, with these connections and this kind of the talent the horse had shown before the last start. I couldn't leave it out, but I was willing to take a little shot against. Storm Shooter and Got the Gold, the entry. Storm Shooter maybe a little more preferred off the recent numbers. We're second off the claim. We're moving down the claiming ladder a little bit off the last time. I think that'll be beneficial. This is a horse that had been in state bred allowance earlier, and typically I like that state bred allowance to claiming move. Hasn't gotten it done yet, but I think is a good fit here. In the third, 3-2, the 1 entry, and 4.
Yeah, I'm not as well versed in the horizontals and betting strategies. I always wonder if the pick 3, which isn't talked about a lot, you love it. You wish it was a different bet in New York, but because we have the red, white, and blue up here, and I think it's these 3 horses have the race surrounded. In the pick 3, do you take? You wouldn't take these 3, right? In the pick 3, you probably have to have more of an opinion.
I would think.
And that makes this
buck minimum, which gives you a little bit.
And this makes it a tough race, having an opinion just like others. And I just a little bit different. I took part of the entry for Linda Rice Storm Shooter with Irad, second off the $30,000 claim. Stepped up to 52L, now probably a little more reasonable. And Power Agenda. I'm having very few questions, Seth, about these big drops. I'm just going with them. I'm putting on top and living. Taco Bean for third. I am 1, 2, 3. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more live from the backstretch at Saratoga.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Bartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. It is time now for the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga. The smart bet is always the Dark Horse, and I got to get one here on the last day of the week. We had one scratch so far. I had a couple that didn't run very. Yesterday's, as we turned for home, I thought I was going to get at least in the money. I thought maybe a shot at the win. That was going to be a little bit of a chore, but I thought second or third was going to be okay. I think I wound up fourth, maybe fifth, but right in a mix. And it was a little bit disappointing because, as I say, where I was and as the horse started to move, I thought... You
liked your position at the
a lot. But we'll see. As I say, as the week winds up, we'll try to get an 8-to-1 shot in for us. I mentioned it earlier. I have in race 1, number 5, Upgrade on top. Goes out for Mike Rapoli and Company, Todd Pletcher. They paid over $500,000 for this horse by Flatter. Flatter this year with first-time starters, 21 of them, 4 wins, 2 seconds, 5 thirds. So does pretty well out of the box. The dam produced a couple of okay siblings, one called Amore, third, then second, then won the fourth career start. Another sibling called Margaret Drive, I think. I can't read my own writing here, but took 6 starts to win. But in those first 6 starts, a win, a second, couple thirds. So I thought top and bottom, there was a win early breeding. Clearly, this team likes to and does win up here. Saratoga early on. They paid a lot of money for this horse. I think at 8-1, it's a fun kind of loaded field. But I do think this horse has a very good shot to be a dark horse play of the day. And so again, today's the Sunday dark horse play of the day. Race number 1 at Saratoga. Horse number 5, Upgrade. The dark horse play of the day brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga. And again, I always go down, browse through. If you're in Saratoga, you will enjoy it with the racing memorabilia, the apparel, the home decor, and then go down the street to their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga, which is also
my wife would probably like me to make a donation on horse memorabilia to them to get it out of her house.
Believe me, you will appreciate.
Yes,
you will definitely appreciate some of
I
it.
cannot wait.
Fourth race at Saratoga, state bred optional claimers, non-winners of 2, 5.5 on the grass.
She'll point out, she's like, the children of these horses are dead. I'm like, that is not relevant, honey. This is important stuff. 762. The race goes through my second pick, Seth's top pick, and I can only, it's the horse to beat, fan. So, and I thought that Battle Station One Outside has run a race off of the fresh thing that will make him competitive in here. And talking about a $14, $16 horse, I think this is a little bit more competitive than just Phantom Smoke in here for Christophe Clement, who's having a terrific start. Horse has only run on the turf, has only sprinted, was runner-up at Saratoga last summer. Irad gets the mount back after being on this horse in the 3-year-old debut. 4-3, number 2, Swashbuckle, Christophe Clement's other runner, making the 3rd start of the year. 2 very nice comeback races. And in a head-to-head, Seth, I'm not so sure I wouldn't prefer the 2 over the 6 out of the Clement barn, but 7-6-2.
Yeah, as you were talking, I was kind of saying the Swashbuckle. I will say Eric Cancel off to a little bit of a slow start, but he had a win yesterday, the day before.
Eric Cancel, I think, was the stage left at $30.
Yeah, exactly. He had the long shot. So he's off the schneid, and that's always beneficial. But I thought with Irad Ortiz, I'd tilt towards Phantom Smoke, West Point Thoroughbreds, Christophe Clement. So I put that one on top. But as you say, Swashbuckle may wind up being the better of the 2 on the numbers. Seems to have maybe a little bit of an edge. But again, I was kind of looking at the jockeys as well. We'll see how that plays out. King Angelo in the 3rd spot. Phil Serpy, trainee, coming off a pretty good seasonal debut. You would have to think that one can move forward. I did not use your 7, Battle Station, but boy, you look, there are back numbers down the page that are clearly good enough, and at a price, I wouldn't argue with that one either. But for me in the 4th, 6, 2, 1, and 8.
Yesterday's 5th race, the prestigious Coaching Club American Oaks. 5th race today, the prestigious Shuvi.
4, 3, and 2 for me. This is going to be hopefully, fingers crossed, a battle. Rematch, Clairiere and Malathaat, a Crazy Beautiful from Ken McPeak, I think, has potential to upset the apple cart if things absolutely fall apart. But boy, Clairiere and Malathaat, after that ding-dong in the Ogden Phipps, I'm looking forward to maybe something similar coming down the stretch today. We'll see how it plays out. I tilted towards Clairiere. I will readily admit, that's one of those horses I've followed and have liked for a long time, and so I just tend to go towards her. I could have gone either way, though. These horses are both super talented. They were that close last time. I put Malathaat underneath. Malathaat with a better Saratoga record. I may regret the way I went, but as I say, I kind of like Clairiere going back a ways, and so I tilt slightly in that direction. 4, 3, and 2.
We discussed this on June 11th when we were doing the Handicappers Report, Belmont Stakes Day. If the idea is that Clairiere has matured and gotten better, that could be the only answer. Because I thought many people liked her as a 3-year-old, and I didn't think there was a lot to like the way they were talking about her. But she did beat Malathaat. in the Ogden Phipps, one of the premier older filly or mare races annually in the United States. So if it's the maturation cycle, but day in and day out, I like Malathat, and that's where I'm going today. It's the other way for me, and as you mentioned last year, she was so impressive in the Alabama Stakes. Now, this is a furlong less, but this will be the third start of the year for Malathat, and I like that angle. And I would just take her, unless Clariere shows she's matured on and crazy beautiful. It's a short race, tough for bettors. Always interested to know what the horizontals thinking. I guess they take the two horses and they move on, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, or you take your stand on one or the other even, because this race will suck value out no matter what.
And
There's no getting around.
I'm sort of in that camp, but I know it's the vast majority. I think the dominant thought for the
Particularly though,
Sharpies
if you have something a little clever in one of the other legs, then you're definitely going to.
Yes, you got to take the two.
Sixth race today, maiden special 2-year-old fillies. Going 3/4 of a mile. Top of my page, I have written a puzzle. I'm interested to see where we match or disagree.
I'm 4, 5, 7 in here, and you know I enjoy these races, but there's less to go on, and you know you could say it's guessing because in a way it is. They don't call me up and go, "Oh boy, Anthony, you know, Eclipse Thoroughbreds, this practical joke we have is really good." So I'm going on the fact that the son of Into Mischief is showing to be a very sharp stallion. Todd Pletcher, Flavien Prat. One thing I will say, it is my opinion that if this horse drifts up in the wagering, that's bad. There are certain horses I don't care if they're dead on the board. I almost want them to go up. Firsters from Todd Pletcher usually don't fall in that group. I want to see action. So I will go Kaling or Kaling. It's either one syllable K and then Ling, or Cal Ling. Oh, by the way, Andy Sterling made it that the Phelpsy is a Michael Phelps thing. He said it. On the second, Take Charge, Brianna. Wayne Lucas's firster from Curlin, and another firster, Verify, an offspring of Justified. But very intriguing race. 2-year-old fillies going 6.
No match in our top 3. I have it 8, 6, 2, and 3. The 4 just missed my mix.
Okay.
I had that one down in the 5th spot. But I put randomized on top. It's Chad Brown and Klarovich. I've said it a million times. When they send out firsters, I'm always paying attention. Nyquist on top is the sire. They paid a lot of money for this horse at Keeneland. Steady string of workouts. I'll use that one on top. Second spot, Vava. Scheduled to have Cherie DeVoe on loose on the lead next, so I'll ask a little bit about Vava, see if we can get an idea there. But I think this one by Gunrunner, I wasn't going to leave a Gunrunner out of the mix. The Gunrunner has been fabulous with the first-time starters or the win early types, and so Vava in the mix for me. And then Key of Life has some experience from Brad Cox, lost at 2-5 after getting off poorly in the debut. But again, that the horse took this kind of action in the debut, and despite the slow start, still wound up, an okay third. I will put that one in the mix as well. 8, 6, 2, and 3.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, the pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, especially in Saratoga, the graveyard of champions, where the dark horse can overcome the odds, defeating the favorites and wowing the crowds. The smart bet is always the dark horse.
Keen Ice has got him! Keen Ice has won the Travers over American Pharaoh in a dramatic upset!
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Bartley, and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s, and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 7th race on the card on this beautiful Sunday. 2-year-old filly's turn to go 2 turns. 1 mile and a 16th on the turf, maiden special weights.
5, 7, 10, and 11 for me. The 11 is the first on the AE list. If that one doesn't get in, I will pull the 3 into the mix. But it's Chad, it's Klarovich with Idea Generation. Purchased at Tatter Sales, and I mentioned it yesterday. This team has been pretty good with the horses that they've gone over and gotten over there in Europe. I wouldn't be shocked to see this one. I know you, I assume you have it, so I will let you talk a little bit about the sire, because I know you're very appreciative there. So I'll leave that to you. Born Dapper in the 2nd spot. Augustin, Jonathan Thomas. I've mentioned it already, and already, have done okay with the Augustin runners up here. This one coming down off a couple of starts up at Woodbine most recently, and I kind of like the first 2 starts sprinting, now stretching out in the 3rd start. I think that's going to be a fun angle, and the 4-1 may be generous there. Christophe Clement has a firster by Medaglia d'Oro, Treasured Gem. Nice string of workouts underneath, and I think with the breeding and whatnot and the connections, this one could be live as well in the debut. 7th, I have 5, 7, 10, and 11.
All right, thank you, Seth, by the way. And there have been stallions, lure, precisionist for fertility issues that had very few horses they ever produced or sired. And Dubai Millennium's thing was he I think was eating the ground. He died like in his 3rd crop, and their lines die out. That is not going to be the case with Dubai Millennium because of Dubawi, who I have been. There's very few things that I have been ahead of the curve. In Dubawi as a sire, he's right behind Galileo, folks. That's the most I can tell you, in my opinion, from the Europeans. Brilliant. This runner makes the debut today, but he is literally going to keep a stallion line alive all by himself. For a second, and I know this runner is 8-1. Seth does have, I think the race goes to Love Tank. Why? Because this is the 3rd career start, but this is a Kitten's Joy who's getting 2 turns today from inside with Luis Saez. I very salivating at that runner, because I have no idea what the firsters are going to do. And then Be Your Best, an Irish bred on the toward the outside, but very intriguing because number 5, Idea Generation, for what we both stated, intrigues me. But Love Tank, for having run, I'm like, well, I would expect the horse to be a maiden until today.
And that one just missed my mix. Another one that I had down kind of, I wrote it on the page in the 5th spot. And I will mention Corningstone. I had Ken McPeak's assistant in yesterday, and we talked a little bit about this, and I think they're looking for a good effort there.
Nice.
But I asked, and I didn't even have to ask. I said, out of Ice Woman named Corningstone, got to be an Anchorman reference.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Some of them, you would be blown over by a feather if they said no. Like, it has to be the answer. There's no other rational one.
8th race this afternoon. Non-winners of 3 conditional claimers. 7 furlongs the distance.
I had to get up from my desk and walk away because I'm just, wow, we have similar, it's usually 2 or 3 a day, and you hope so. That just, brain busters for me. And when I got done, the only thing I knew, Seth, was I wasn't going to put Swift Shore on top, because my rule is if it's, that jumbled in your mind when you finalize it, you can't take the favorite. It would have jumped out earlier than that. So Emerald Express for Joe Sharp, who is at this meet, $50,000 claim from Mike Maker. Merrow makes the 3rd start since shipping out of Mountaineer, Mahoning Valley, and a good effort as the beaten favorite in last. I don't keep stats. I mean, Mike Maker is a sharp trainer, who I think won the 1st and last yesterday. Yeah, I think he did. I think he won the 1st and the last yesterday. But, Joe Sharp is a sharp trainer. So I just went to Emerald Express as a legitimate a top pick. My second pick is, I just Swift Shore, number 7, who Seth has for second. Rudy Brissett sends out this runner for the second time. Used to be in the Asmussen barn. Is on the outside. Won the first 2 career starts, and was probably a lot of upside, but hasn't run back to those first 2 races. And I'm not in for a short price. And then the morning line favorite, number 3, Kinetic Sky for Brad Cox. I've talked about how he has dropped these horses in even lower than this, and been down the road. Now, this horse is 9-5, the morning line favorite, so we'll see. But don't be afraid of those drops. 4-7-3.
Yeah, and I wasn't. I think it's a competitive race. I wasn't as searching as you were.
Really?
I went with the logicals.
Okay.
I went with Kinetic Sky and Swift Share.
I understand.
And Kinetic Sky, just what you said. I think it's a horse dropping in for the tag today. I think is going to give this horse an advantage. Swift Share is kind of interesting. You mentioned used to be for Asmussen. You look up at the ownership, and Asmussen Equine still owns part of the horse. So interesting scenario there. But another one that I think class-wise moving in for the tag today is maybe going to have an edge on this particular bunch. Bold victory in the third spot for Linda Rice. Tried to start her allowance company last time. 2 starts back, though, in for the tag. Ran very well, and I think that's probably closer to what we're going to see this afternoon. In the 8th, 3-7, 5-4.
All right, one more before our break. 3-year-olds and up. Open company fillies, entry-level allowance, dashing 5.5 on the turf.
1-4-8-2. I have the 3 that just missed the mix. I will say, when I was watching the weather before I left the house, they're saying some storms may blow through that might overlap the end of the day. So I just mentioned that because I was told this morning that we're now showing the picks on the crawl that include the dirt choices. So in the afternoon, if you're kind of tuned in, you can go over and pick up the one sheet and see the dirt selections at the website.
And they do a good job. They put a capital D : and then the picks that
crawl
follow before the next race. So it's
so again, I'm just mentioning that because there was the chance of maybe at the end of the afternoon. So believe me, I'm keeping fingers crossed. But I put I have it 1, 4, 8, and 2. The 3 is interesting as well. But Osiria in the top spot. Christophe Clement runner. 3 starts so far. Broke through in the 3rd career start. And I'm a buyer guy, and it's a tool in the toolbox. It's not the be-all, end-all, but man, that buyer guy, this horse seemed to have a light little moment last time. And if we get back to that, Osiria will be a player. 2nd spot, Boxing Day, Brendan Walsh and Godolphin tried Stakes Company last time down at Churchill, and I thought ran okay. That was the 2nd stakes they've tried this horse in. So they've had some ambitions and some confidence, and I think this horse is going to fit nicely with this group. And then Tuscan Queen, that was the big horse play of the day earlier today, and I think if you go back to what we saw at Saratoga last year, you can have a little confidence in the 2nd start of the career, this 2nd start of the season. This horse is going to move forward nicely. So for me, in the 9th, 1, 4, 8, and 2.
What famous sporting event is annually on Boxing Day in the United States of America?
Oh, well, I was going to Santa Anita opening day.
That's right. December 26th.
I thought you got a trivia question right. There was one, you asked me one a couple of days ago that I don't know if, it was the long shots with Pletcher and Chad Brown. And it was just so esoteric that
that's me.
Yeah, no, that was
another great English word. 742. Neon Summer to me is 10-1, but I'm telling you, they take blinkers off. The horse has shown early speed. I'm hoping they believe in maturation. I mean, the horse tried blinkers, not the whole career, the last 2 starts. Luis Saez, this is a shipment. I have to be going, I believe. And maybe it's, flag fall to that's all at $22 for Neon Summer and yours truly. Boxing Day comes out of May 14th stakes race. Doesn't have the speed of my top pick, and I'm hoping we can hold that over her for Godolphin and for 3rd. A little faith. Making a 2nd start in almost 2 years. I don't care. By the way, Bill Mott's horse ran well the other day for me. Didn't get the win, but I think ran 2nd, maybe 3rd, but he ran great. That's my new rule, 7-4-2. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the finale.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. We will wrap things up on a Sunday afternoon, race number 10, about 6:15. These are maiden $75,000 claimers, 8.5 furlongs. They'll be on the turf, hopefully.
You know, and in these races, I look very positively towards a maiden 75. I mean, it's like a quarter of a notch below maiden special weights. There's, you know, you've eliminated many players from picking off your horse, and it kind of saves you from running into a buzzsaw or something. So I would, and there are major barns in this race, and we have 2/3 covered. I'm 7-1 street vendor for Todd Fletcher. Mike Rapoli, second start of the year after just getting beat in the seasonal debut, runs for a tag for the first time, comes back at 2 turns for this offspring of Nyquist with Luis Saez in the saddle for the first time. Number 7 street vendor, my top pick. Second pick is a first-time starter. Number 2, What a Dude for Chad Brown and Wise Racing. But for me, it's really the hard spun angle, and More Than Ready on the bottom even helps that. But Irad gets the mount. It's one of those situations. 7-2 is extremely attractive to me, Seth, at 9.52 for my second pick. And for third, from the temporary rail, number 1, Smokin' Heat. They add blinkers. They run for a tag for the first time. This is Anthony Dutro's runner. Eric Consell, who got off the duck, has the mount 7-1. And what I think, as you said with the weather, I hope it holds out, because I think this is a very nice get-out race for the week.
And again, the weather I saw was right on the cusp of the end of the card, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that, as you say, things hold up. 6, 1, 7, and 8, Pivotal Mission on top. At 6-1, I'm looking forward to jumping on board this one, jumping into a tag for the first time. Clearly, they had some ambitions, trying, a couple of stakes races as a 2-year-old 2 years ago, then laid off all of 2021. I thought the comebacker was okay. You know, wound up 5th in there, but showed a little punch early. This horse really intrigues me today.
Well, you know that race is, I mean, I know Fort Ticonderoga came back and lost for Shug, but there's high ambition for that winner. I think you're exactly right.
Yeah, no,
I can't believe I want to read you. I want a mulligan with Pivotal Mission.
Smokin' Heat in the second spot. Tony Dutrow runner goes made special weight to maiden claiming, which I think is going to be very beneficial. And Street Vendor, Mike Rapoli, Todd Fletcher, also made special weight to maiden claiming. Rudy has Flokies Flight for Michael Dubb, and I think that one could be a player off the turf debut.
How about the 9?
Last time, the 9
first time, for Jorge Abreu, Almazar. I mean, good luck.
Yeah.
If you need this race to get through, good luck. I think it's, maiden claim. It doesn't matter to me. This is a highly contentious race, which is what I like. So
6, 1, 7, and 8 for me, by the way.
Hard to believe. Second week in the books. Any thoughts?
It always goes fast once
it does. Once it gets you and you get in the rhythm. Who do we have on racing across the... no, sorry. Rewind. Loose on the lead. It must be Sunday. I know Steve Bick will be on the road. So.
He's on the road. By the way, Steve is going to be on the road on Wednesday. He's traveling, so I think you have to make sure, but I think I'm going to be hosting his radio show on Wednesday, so that'll be fun. But they're in the green room right now. Mary Rufo and Mike Rennie. They do the Smokin' Mare podcasts. We'll bring them in, talk a little bit about the podcast, and maybe give some ideas for this afternoon. Also, I see in the green room, Kim Weir, our friend from the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. She'll give you some of the events coming up for that worthwhile racing-related charity, horse-related charity. Cherie DeVoe won yesterday with Jane Mask, won with Tarabi opening day, first time out of the
Jane Mask.
mile. So, and then also
okay?
Bruce Brown, because
ding, 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 ding.
Sparkles
How do
is
we
a
let
nice
her get
horse.
away at that price? I can understand like 5, 6. I think she was 8-1 on the morning line.
Yeah,
but Robin Sparkles, there's a surprise, went to the front, wins the photo. Congratulations to Bruce. Up next is John DeSilva. His thoughts on Del Mar, which was bombs away yesterday. He stays, I go. Have a great Sunday, everybody.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.